video.
We don't hear you too well.
You did not.
But just make it a little louder, that's all.
But you're still very welcome.
Absolutely. Oh, there you
Good evening.
are. Hi, Talika.
Hello.
So this is what you got yourself into.
I realized that. That's why I hit the exit button as soon as I could.
Well, we all struggled a bit tonight.
I apologize. Having a meeting right before this one has made it a little bit challenging.
I bet.
And of course, it ran a little long, so.
Of course.
All right, so I do have the meeting recording. If you'll give me one moment, I'll read the instructions. And then we can get started with the temporary appointments. Again, like the meetings that we've been having over the last several, well, more than just several months now, over the last while, this is a virtual meeting and we're taking public comment one of four ways. You can drop your message off in the blue drop box at the main entrance of the township building. That box has been checked. This evening, there was no public comment in it. You can raise your hand during the meeting to make a comment. You can call in, if you've called in by your phone into the Zoom meeting, there is a ability to do that. If you can't figure out how to raise your hand doing that, you can send an email to publiccomment@newtowntownship.org. Again, that's publiccomment@newtowntownship.org. That email is watched during the meeting and prior to it. And that's how you can make public comment this evening. If you want to just make a written public comment and have it read into the record, you can just send that as well to the publiccomment@newtowntownship.org. I will turn the meeting over to whomever's going to call it to order and get the appointment of your temporary secretary and your temporary chair.
I'll call the meeting to order. I call the January 4th, 2021 Municipal Authority meeting to order. Appointment of a temporary secretary. I appoint Mark Kay as the temporary secretary and appoint Maria Kane as the temporary chairperson. Maria, it's all yours.
Okay. Could you make an agenda available?
I will do that. Give me 1 second. That was the thing I was getting ready to do, and
I mean, I can pull it up. Let me just exit full screen. I can pull it up from my emails.
Maria, the next is roll call.
Okay. Let me see.
Can you see it, Maria?
I'll just take roll. Okay. John Weaver.
Here.
Kalika Sawant.
She's still muted.
No.
No, I just unmuted myself and said here.
Okay.
Mark Kay.
Here.
Joe Sweeney.
Here.
Dave Porter, Township Engineer.
Present.
Okay. Steve Neese on behalf of the township. And Mike Sheridan.
Here.
Solicitor.
Here.
Okay. Am I missing anybody?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, yes, I have the agenda here. And is this a moment of silence for anything in particular, or is that a leftover from last meeting for?
COVID.
We just do a moment of silence every meeting.
Instead of the, okay, instead of the Pledge of Allegiance. Gotcha. Okay, let's just have a moment of silence to reflect on the the past year and bringing in a new year with more positive events.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
I'll second
Second.
that. Or John seconds the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everybody approves. Okay, we need to appoint a chairperson for the upcoming year. Do I have any appointments?
I nominate Joe Sweeney.
I'll second that nomination. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody, Kalika? I can't hear you.
You mute.
I'm sorry, I'm not really sure what to say other than, if I don't have any objection, you should just.
Just
I
say
guess
aye.
I guess I'm wondering if we should not, and maybe this is Mike. Kalika's a new member. She's been appointed to the board by the Board of Supervisors. Do we need to vote to just confirm her membership on the board?
We do not. That's strictly
Okay.
within the supervisor's purview, but
just wanted to make sure she
I wonder,
could vote on
Kalika, were you administered an oath of office as part of the process?
Probably not.
I haven't, I just received the notification of this meeting literally 15 minutes ago, and I rushed here to join, so.
Well, thank you for that. Then, because and this is under the Authorities Act, if you haven't been administered an oath of office to this point in time, then while you're certainly permitted to observe and make comments, you're not allowed to vote on things. So
Okay.
that'll be for this meeting, and we'll get that straightened out by the next meeting.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Great. Okay, so Mark Kay made the appointment. I seconded that, or the nomination. I seconded that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think that's everybody except Kalika, of course, because she's not going to be voting at this particular meeting. Okay, I now need a nomination for vice chair for the upcoming year.
To nominate Maria Kane.
Does anybody second that nomination?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think I'm supposed to abstain. I don't know.
You can always vote for yourself.
I can?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, then aye. Okay, next we need a nomination for the election of the secretary for the upcoming year.
That's Steve Neese, I believe, right? I nominate Steve.
No, it can't be.
No, it's
Has
got to
be a
be
member of
someone on the board.
I believe the current secretary is John Weaver. Is that correct?
No, it's Tom Smith.
Okay. I'll nominate John Weaver as our secretary for the 2021 year.
I will second that nomination. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next I need a nomination for the election of treasurer.
I nominate Mark Kay as treasurer.
I'll second that nomination. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I think, Joe, now that you're chairman again, you could take over.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good job, Maria.
Item number 7, appointment of officers, Director of Operations, Assistant Secretary, Assistant Treasurer, Stephen Neese.
Second.
Mike, do we need to vote on each of these or just appoint them?
You do need to vote, but you
Okay.
can
Yeah, it has to be by action. It has to be by action of the board.
Okay. So we have Director of Operations, Assistant Secretary, Assistant Treasurer, Stephen Neese. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, second.
Second it. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Authority
Who was the-
Solicitor.
Sorry, who was the second? I know, did Mark make the,
I was.
you were
Mark
the
was the
second?
second.
Oh,
Second,
I
I'm
think
sorry, I
Joe made the nomination.
I
I
did.
got you. I'm with you now. I'm
Stephen,
sorry.
can you scroll down the
Yep.
agenda?
7.2, Authority Solicitor, I nominate J. Michael Sheridan. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 7.3, Authority's
you.
Engineer. I nominate I nominate McCumbee. I'm sorry, I should nominate Dave Porter, but I nominate, appoint a McCumbee Engineering. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second it,
Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Alternate conflict engineer currently is Stantec. I nominate that Stantec be retained as our alternate conflict engineer. Do I have a second?
Second,
Second from Mark Kay. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Who is our auditor at this point in time? Stephen?
Malley?
Malley?
Yes.
Is the township retaining their services for 2021 or are you switching?
They will most likely be retaining. We've advertised, they will take a vote on it at the meeting of the 25th. The township is required to do a 30-day advertisement. I don't believe the municipal authority has the same requirement.
Well, at this point in time, why don't we wait to see who the township selects so that we're not in conflict with them?
Okay.
Okay. And 7.6, the right to know officer. I believe that's currently Suzanne.
It's actually me for the authority, but if you want to make, Suzanne is for the township, so it's up to you.
Okay. Can we make council that?
Can. I mean, there's no prohibition against it.
Right, right. All right. I nominate Stephen Neese to continue as our right to know officer. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8.
Joe,
Yes.
before you move forward with that, I was thinking of our current condemnation proceedings against Mr. Rafferty. So we'd want to appoint or continue to appoint.
Oh, you're right.
Conflict counsel.
Yeah, we need to appoint conflict counsel as it relates to any type of condemnation. We currently have Mr. Catania representing us. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I nominate that we continue to retain the services of Mr. Catania as our conflict counsel. Do I have a second?
second,
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Thank you. All right. Item number 8, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the, I'm sorry, everyone's had an opportunity to review those minutes of the December 7th, 2020 meeting. I make a motion that those minutes be approved as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Do we have any public comment at this time?
I do not see any hands raised. And there's nothing in the email.
Okay, thank you. There are no announcements. Item number 11, payments. 11.1, I make a motion that we approve the bills on check register dated January 4th, 2021, totaling $25,772.28. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on those bills? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 11.2, I make a motion that we approve the payments from the bond totaling $1,246 to Michael Sheridan for professional services associated with the 537 public sewer project build out. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 11.3, I make a motion that we approve a payment from the bond totaling $7,422.50 to Herbert McKenby Engineers for Part 2 permit work, public sewer project relative to the Camelot service area construction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 11.4, I make a motion approving a payment from the bonds totaling $1,281.25 to Herbert McKenby Engineering for Part 2 permit work relative to the Springton Point service area construction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. 11.5, consider approving a payment from the bonds totaling, I make a motion that we approve payment from the bonds totaling $3,623.75 to McCombie Engineering for Part 2 permit work relative to the Ashford service area construction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. 11.6. I make a motion that we reimburse in the amount of $223.67 to Joan Jenkin of 321 Arthur Court for a sewer overpayment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Number 12, engineers report. Mr. Porter, bring us up to date, please. You still
Dave,
with
you're
us?
muted, Dave.
Dave, you're muted.
That better?
Yes.
There we go.
Amazing.
Okay, with the sanitary sewer extension project, in the Ashford service area, we had been working with the township engineer on a couple of odds and ends with regard to paving and curb repair at driveways and one of our pump station driveway accesses. That's been pretty much resolved at this point. We're going to work with the township's paving consultant or paving contractor to resolve those couple of minor issues. The Camelot service area, we have been meeting with pushing Pico to get the gas service extension scheduled to provide gas for the emergency generator at the proposed Camelot pump station, as well as to get electric service extended to that pump station as well. We had a site meeting with Pico and with Ford Brothers, our electric contractor, to review the scope of work for the electrical work. They are in the process of getting that scheduled with Pico. That's one of the remaining items for the Camelot pump station in order to have startup testing conducted at that station. The gas service, if you recall, I reported on at the last authority meeting. The authority voted to authorize payment for that gas service of $4,943.33. And that was subject to the solicitor's review of that agreement, which was a standard Pico service agreement. We need that review and concurrence by our solicitor in order to send that agreement in and to release the funding from the TD Bank trustee for the bond payment to Pico in order to get that scheduled. So we'll be working with our solicitor over the next couple of days, hopefully, to get that squared away and to get that scheduled. For the Springton Estates pump station, I'm pleased to report that the station will undergo final startup testing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. They have completed site restoration work, repaving of the driveway to the pump station, fence and landscaping items have been completed as well. We had already gone through a preliminary startup with that pump station, and everything went pretty much flawlessly. I expect the same to occur tomorrow. And with that, we'll be able to have that pump station permanently started up. We'll coordinate with KBX to put that on their regular maintenance schedule as well. With that report on the sewer project, there have been several pay application requests that have been submitted in December. With the quick turnaround time to get that on the authority's agenda, I apologize, it just did not have enough time to get that to the township staff to put that on the agenda. But I did want to report that J.O. and Bradley did file for release of release number 14 for the Ashford service area, which pretty much brings them down to their last or second to last release. They're looking for $265,548.35, and that will leave remaining in the contract $563,782.88. And that was for work relative to final restoration, landscaping in the Goshen pump station, the fence around the Goshen pump station, as well as settling on curb repair quantities and driveway repair quantities. We also received a pay application request from Almeida and Hudak for the Springton Estates pump station service area. That totals $158,810. And that leaves $97,250 left in the contract. And as I mentioned, that station will be started up tomorrow. And if all goes according to plan, there may be one final release for some odds and ends. Lastly, there was one request for payment from Ford Brothers Electric. That was request number 7 relative to the Camelot service area. And that was for rough electrical for the Old Masters pump station. And that request was for $23,031.00, leaving $173,615 remaining in the contract. As the authority is aware, we are working through easement acquisition issues for the access driveway as well as the rest of the electric. So the remainder of that electrical in Ford Brothers contract will go, the bulk of that will go toward the Old Masters pump station electrical. That concludes the engineer's report for the sewer project.
Anybody have any questions on the sewer project? I do. Dave, 2 things. Number 1, those requests, we'll deal with those at the mid-month meeting because we're going to have one.
Okay.
In order to approve a budget. So just let them know that those you can submit the documentation to the staff. They will be addressed in the mid-month meeting.
Okay, will do. I'll let the contractors know. Thank you.
Back to the Ashford service area, you commented on that what's left really was some paving and some curb work. So is that to say that all the punch list items that have been identified have been completely resolved and we're done in Ashford?
I do know there are a couple of areas of landscaping or lawn restoration that need to be addressed. A couple of low areas, but save for that, we're 99% completed for all the punch list items. So I'll get a revised punch list out and have that ready for the next meeting. Are they
going to wait? Are they going to wait to spring to address the landscaping?
Yeah, they're going to have to wait to spring just because it's so late in the year.
Okay.
So,
all right. Go ahead. Next on your report.
2 minor things for the Ellis Sector 1 Phase 2 residential. I had a pre-construction meeting for the site sanitary sewer with Reading Site Contractor, who is BPG's contractor for that project. We're still awaiting coordination with the DEP and with BPG's engineer on their sewage facilities planning. And lastly, I was requested to meet with Delcora with regard to our sanitary sewer extension, particularly for the CDCA service area in the township, although we did discuss both the RHM and CDCA service areas. That meeting was on the 18th at Delcora. I basically explained the overall layout of our sanitary sewer system, existing and proposed, explained the connectivity of all the new pump stations, the existing pump stations, where all the lines drain to, connected with the respective service areas, CDCA or RHM. And based on that meeting, there was a follow-up field meeting out at the Solicitor pump station and the Ellis pump station so that Delcora could install telelogs to monitor our municipal authority flows, similar to what is already installed at the Camelot Lane, the existing Camelot Lane pump station. So that concludes my engineer's report.
Are there any questions of the engineer? Okay,
Dave, I saw some activity up at Gradyville Road and 252 today. It was Aqua trucks, I believe. That doesn't have anything to do with the Gradyville line, does it?
That's a good question, Mike. And I was asked that question today, and I did follow up with Harry Robinson at Newtown Public Works to see if they had any PA1 calls that were put in or had any information on that. But Harry did respond and tell me that it was Aqua, in fact, doing work out there, and that Newtown Public Works did mark out our force mains as a result of the PA1 call. So I'm not sure exactly what Aqua's doing out there, but I'm sorry.
Aqua's doing some main work right there at that spot.
Okay.
And they're probably going to be putting in a fire hydrant.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for our engineer? No? Okay, Dave, thank you. Old business. I have no old business. Does anybody have any old business?
I do.
Go ahead.
I don't know if folks had time to look at a note I sent to you about the Hunter's Run situation in terms of the agreement, the waiver and release agreement, by which we paid them for the contractor they selected to do landscaping work instead of having JO do the restoration. After December's meeting, I sent it out, told them, you sign it, you get the check. They came back with a revised agreement, and the agreement provided a material term that was never discussed nor in any prior agreements that were originated back in October. And the language that was added that causes me concern is that the authority for itself, for Newtown Township, their agents, contractors, etc., agree and accept as complete and compliant with all governing rules and regulations, the abandonment of Hunter's Run on-site septic system, and all repairs to the Hunter's Run collection and conveyance line, as well as waives any and all claims or causes of action it may have now or in the future related to or arising from the abandonment and repairs. Now, clearly, the original agreement related to their landscaping issue. Now, all of a sudden, it's morphed into this waiver that they want from us of any claims or any concerns about what occurred on their property. And I mentioned that to Fran Marabella as the president of the HOA. And he just says they just wanted to have the complete tie up to all the issues with the authority relating to the work that was done there. I told him that never before in my time have I seen this sort of concession or acknowledgement by the authority given to anybody. We do the inspections are completed. satisfactorily and they move on. None of these things about waiving any and all causes of action in future, you don't know what that involves.
Yeah.
So I told them I can't, I got to go to the board. I mean, that's such a material different term than what was originally discussed. I got to go to the board. I can't have you sign and say it's okay. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so gentlemen and ladies, comments?
I definitely have a comment. I mean, my my feeling is we go back to them and let them know that without any additional consideration, you know, we're going back to the original agreement, and we're happy to entertain a separate waiver like the one they've requested, but you know, it's going to be in a separate agreement. This was never negotiated, and certainly wasn't, you know, part of what we were envisioning.
Okay. Mark?
I agree. I read it this afternoon, Mike, and we never agreed to that before, ever. And it's asking for us to give a lot up that we don't even know exactly what the situation is right now.
Correct.
So I would never sign that, and we could review it separately, but even then, I don't think I'd ever sign it.
John, you have any comments?
I mean, yeah. And essentially what we're doing is saying we're agreeing to pay for the restoration of certain things if they sign this agreement, correct?
Limited
Right.
to the original agreement was limited to the landscaping, which we agreed
Right.
to.
Right.
Right. And so I don't think we move ahead until we have an agreement with them that, as Maria said, that this is a separate request. And if they pull that separate request out, we'll be happy to move ahead with what we sent to them.
We can entertain at a separate time a request for this type of release, which
Yeah.
the board has never done for any other piece of the project.
Mike, do we need to do a motion?
I got the consensus, I think. I'll go ahead and explain that. I indicated to Fran, there was nothing adversarial about it. I just said, you know, I'm going to take it to the board. Don't be surprised, since this is entirely new, that it's not well received. So I'll just get back and let them know and say,
Yeah,
hey,
let me add my 2 cents. I agree with everyone that that's not the deal we negotiated, but more importantly, we do not give blanket certifications. Have not ever given blanket certifications of the scope that they're requesting. And I would make it pretty clear to him that that has never been done.
I mean, it almost makes us the insurer
Right,
Yeah.
right,
of that job, which
right.
is not our role.
And make it very clear to him that if we agreed that we reimburse for landscaping, we'll do it. Sign the agreement as it was written. We'll send you the money. And you can make it pretty clear that anything beyond that is well beyond anything that the authority's ever done in the past.
It's null and void.
So,
Well, I will just so we're all clear, what I will tell them is that the consensus of the board is that if you want to raise that issue, you can bring it before them separately. And if you're agreeable to do that, then you can sign the agreement as it is. You can have the money and we'll move forward. If you don't agree, then, you know, we're just sitting in a stalemate.
okay, that's right. Perfect.
I have one other minor detail to mention, and this is specifically related to decommissioning of their on-lot system. The authority's easement for the sanitary sewer extension did go through a portion of their on-lot system, but there were other portions of the on-lot system that were outside of the sewer project and the scope of the sewer project and the scope of our contractor's decommissioning of those portions of that on-lot system. Now, the board of directors for Hunter's Run did engage in a separate contract with J.O. and Bradley to complete the decommissioning of their on-lot system for all the other appurtenances that were adjacent to but outside of the scope of the sanitary sewer project. So I'd be very concerned with the way that they have that worded, that, you know, those two things would fall under the umbrella of one waiver. which we have control over J.O. and Bradley as the authority's contractor. What we don't have control of is J.O. and Bradley as the board of directors contractor.
So you're talking, David, about the private on the internal system within Hunter's Run community?
That's correct, Mike. So
okay.
The way that their on-lot systems were situated, they had several septic tanks in series, and our easement passed through, one or two of those areas where we had to take that out in order to install the sanitary sewer pipe. But as part of their connection to the public sewer, they have to decommission their on-lot system, similar to how folks tying into the sewer system now have to decommission their existing on-lot sewer system. But there were other portions that were outside of the scope of the sanitary sewer project that had to be completed. They were free to hire any contractor they wanted. It was just out of convenience that J.O. and Bradley was there. I guess they gave them a favorable price. They had a separate contract to complete that decommissioning on behalf of the Hunter's Run community.
Okay. So, Mike, I think you got the right sense of where we are. So let them know and go from there.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it's up to you. I would make note that Mr. Marabella is on the Zoom meeting and his hand is raised. I don't know if you would want to recognize him.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm working.
Okay.
I've set it up so that you can talk, Mr. Marabella. You would need to unmute yourself.
Okay. I guess the board, when we reviewed the first release, it was a release that was releasing everything for the authority. So we started to discuss, and like Mr. Porter said, some of our decommissioning of our pump station and tanks were done as part of the authority's work. And then we also commissioned your contractor to do the rest of our decommissioning. But what was within the permanent easement and the construction easement, a few of our tanks and pump stations were removed. So that was under the authority's control, and we thought it'd be best to go with the authority's contractor. Was the price was good, and it was working with the already working on the project. So we just thought, we did things, the authority did things, and we also televised our lines, repaired things, just that something be documented that we did all these things. And maybe a proper thing to be able to have a meeting to discuss these things and we incorporate into the release. Maybe something else can be done that at least it's on the record that all these things were done because there was no permits pulled or anything. We were just working along, and we thank the authority and Dave and Mike for all the help in getting us tied in. But it was just, we didn't control the whole process. The authority did part, we did part. And the thought was, let's get this documented and put it to bed that these procedures were all done.
Thank you. Well, then I guess, Mr. Marabella, I guess you heard our conversation.
Yes.
So you can go back to your board, but that's our position today. We have an agreement in place that releases funds for landscaping. If you agree to that, we'll release the funds. If you want to come back to us with a separate agreement, then we'll certainly entertain that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Operations Manager's report.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I have would be for executive session. In light of the other things on the agenda, I might suggest we move that to the end. I think we're going to have to come back out, but I don't think it would take but a minute when we come back out.
Okay. New business. 16.1, consider approving the 2021 proposed budget. We're going to have to put that on hold as we are still waiting for some calculations from Delcora and our engineer on rates for the CDCA portion of the system. 16.2, consider approving bank depositories. I make a motion that we maintain our relationship with TD Bank. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. 16.3, consider approving the bank signators. I believe those signatures are Mr. K and myself from the authority and Mr. Neese as operations manager. Is there anybody else, Stephen, that can
Yeah,
sign?
there were actually 3 of you from the board, and I cannot remember whether it was, I think it was,
I think Tom was.
I think it was Tom.
I
And
think it was
then,
Tom as the secretary.
yeah, and, huh?
I think it was Tom as the secretary.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And then
Okay.
on the township side, in case I'm out, George Sheritz is the replacement.
Okay, so back to 16.3, I make a motion that the bank signatures are from the authority's position. It would be Ms. Marquet, John Weaver as secretary, myself as chairman, and from the township's position, it would be Mr. Neese. And who was the other?
George
Steve?
George
George
Sheritz.
Sheritz, thank you, and George Sheritz. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. And then 16.4, consider approving resolution 2101, setting sewer rates for metered and non-metered customers and users. Again, we need to wait until we have the final calculations from Delcora. We'll do that hopefully in the interim meeting in January. That is it for this section of the meeting. We need to go to executive session. And
So the way we're going to do that, so that everybody understands, because it's a little bit different with this, I need you as a panelist to exit this meeting. I sent out an invite. I hope everybody got it for the executive session. We'll go into executive session, then we will come back to this meeting. Like I said, I think it'll be very brief, but I don't have any way of blocking us out without doing that. So
okay, so we need
Was
to
that-
exit this and then come back again.
But
Yeah.
how do we come back in? Through a separate link?
use the same link that you used to get in the first time.
Okay.
Okay.
Use that link to come back to this meeting. So I sent you a link to the executive session. That's a
Okay.
separate meeting. I have to shut this meeting. I have to go and set this meeting aside and start that meeting. And then it'll take me a minute, but then I'll get everybody in.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, see you there.
Try this.
In a minute.
Here's hopeful. Here's hoping.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
Steve, make sure you promote me to host before you leave.
Yeah, the problem is I did the wrong one. Hold on a second. All right, you should now be host. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'll be here when you get back.
All right, thank you. I don't know if Maria can hear me, but she used the wrong link. She needs to use the one for the executive session, not the one to come back in here.
Okay, I can explain it to her.
Rich, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but you are back in the public meeting.
Okay, so what link do I need? The one sent via email? That's what I was asking earlier.
Yeah, I believe that Steve sent 2 separate emails. One was labeled executive session and one was
Okay.
labeled public meeting.
And that's to my work email, right?
I believe so, Maria. I wasn't the one that sent it, so I can't 100% confirm.
All right, I'll leave this now and see if I can't figure it out.
Got it.
Are we all back?
Everyone's back except for Kalika.
Okay. Somehow now my picture's not where I want to be, but that's okay. I have no idea what I did, but I know you can hear me, so that's all that really counts, I guess.
We can see you.
Okay. I can't see you. I guess that's my issue. I have no idea what I did.
You're good, Joe.
And my tech team's not available at this hour.
Well, we can see
Anyhow.
it. That's all that matters.
All right. Let me know when Galika's back on, and then we can go back into general session.
Technically, we can right now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, John. We can. For the record, we had executive session. We discussed the legal issue, which at this point in time requires no action from the board. The next item on the agenda is number 17, an adjournment.
One more, Mr. Chairman, your schedule. You
Oh,
need to
I'm
update
sorry.
your
Yeah, you're
schedule.
right. I didn't see that. Thank you. 16.5, the schedule for 21-22 meetings. We're going to have our regular monthly meeting, and then I believe we have also outlined our interim meeting for each month.
Yes.
You have two choices. If you want to select option A, it would be just your monthly meeting. I didn't know with the project almost finished, if you wanted to advertise for 2 meetings every month.
But let's go with option B right now, at least for the short term. We can always cancel as we've done in the past. Better
Okay.
safe and then to scramble and have to do something.
Okay.
Okay. So I make a motion that we approve the 21-22 schedule under option B, which is 2 meetings per month. Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Number 17, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all. We will see you in 2 weeks so we can get the budget done.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.